No name. No name is more synonymous with film criticism than Roger Ebert's. He has been reviewing movies for his hometown paper, the Chicago Sun-Times, since 1967. In 1975, he became the first winner of the Pulitzer Prize in film criticism. But it has been his work on television, co-hosting a show with Gene Siskel, that has made him a household name. Last year, Gene Siskel, his longtime friend and collaborator, died, and Roger Ebert made the difficult decision to continue the show. After more than a year of rotating co-host, he has chosen fellow Sun-Times columnist Ebert Roeper to sit across the aisle. His latest book, a collection of critical reviews, is called I Hated This Movie. I'm pleased to welcome Roger Ebert back to this table to talk about many things, including movies he likes and hates. Welcome back.
Great to see you, Charlie.
Good to see you here. Let's talk about movies you like and summer movies first.
Okay. Yeah.
I love The Perfect Storm.
The Perfect Storm. It's about a small boat and big waves. It's very simple. It's kind of like Jaws, about a small boat and a big shark.
Yes.
And because it's so elemental, it's not really about a plot-driven kind of situation, what the characters will do. The characters will do whatever they can do to stay alive, and that's why it's so fascinating. It's out of their hands. And the detail, the way that it works, the way that it looks on the screen. We hear a lot about computer animation these days, and when it works, you shouldn't stop to think that it's animation or that it's special effects. That wave at the end of the film apparently is about twice as high as a wave can possibly be in the real world, and yet it looked so real. And as he's trying and willing that boat to go up that wave, how did you feel?
Felt the same way you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I
thought.
Now that is what a film can do.
So this is really this is the star of this film is Wolfgang Petersen.
Yes, and his special effects people, and then the actors are good too. I think George Clooney is a good actor.
I do too.
I loved him in Three Kings.
Yeah, I liked him there too. What is it he has as an actor?
He has what a lot of the great durable stars have, and that is, and I know that a lot of people think he's very handsome and so forth. He's kind of smooth. He's like Harrison Ford or Gary Cooper. He doesn't have a lot of edges for you to catch on. He's just kind of there, very dependable, likable. You can identify with him.
Jimmy Stewart.
Yeah, his personality doesn't get in the way of who the character is supposed to be. It just augments it.
Yeah. The way that movie got us identified with those characters in the beginning, and what it said to me about fishing, all made it more compelling as a film. Yeah.
They get out there, and you know exactly why they've gone out too late and why they've gone out too far.
It explains
and then
the passion. It explains the risk.
The icebox breaks down. Now, what are they going to do? I mean, I know what I would do, but they're kind of, and they don't have all the information they need. Yeah. Mary Elizabeth Mastrantonio is trying to get to them with information about this storm, and she can't. And I gather, I haven't read the book, but you've probably talked to a lot of people.
Yes.
He just kind of figured out what would have happened, right?
Yes.
They
Exactly.
have a certain amount of empirical
right.
evidence, and then they just kind of use their imagination. And that's why I like that movie so much. It doesn't end with they didn't go to a test audience that said, oh, we'd like it better if it had an upbeat ending. You know, they just went with the story, and that's why it's so successful.
Sebastian Junger did a very interesting thing. He went to the director, Wolfgang Petersen, and he said, listen, just promise me that if you somehow, and it's your right, you bought the rights to this book, you can do what you want to with it, but promise me if you allow one of these people to survive, then you will change all the names, because that would do grave injustice to them.
Did you hear about this movie called Messenger, the story of Joan of Arc? It came out earlier this year.
Oh, yeah, I never saw it, but I heard about it.
Could qualify for this book. Do you know that they showed it to test audiences who came out and marked the cards and said things like, does she have to burn at the stake?
No. Well,
I mean, I think we have too many test audiences in this country and not enough directors who say, this is the film I want to make, it's finished, here it is. Instead of people, oh, I didn't like it that it ended that way, and I wanted it to end happily, and they should be together at the end, or Joan shouldn't die.
Or he has to have a love interest.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it won't be
They're
attractive
making every movie the same. And, of course, if you ask an audience, did you like the ending, and somebody dies, they're going to say no, because that was a nice person. They didn't want them to die. That doesn't mean it would be a better movie if they didn't die, though. I think they're just taking it to one level. They're not looking into it a little more deeply.
I'm going to see a scene here just a moment from The Perfect Storm, in case you have not seen it. While they set that scene up, tell me what else you like most of in the summer movies.
You know, I like this new Eddie Murphy movie, Nutty Professor 2, The Clumps. I don't think Eddie Murphy gets enough credit. We take him for granted. Oh, he plays 6 scenes, plays 6 characters in the movie plus himself. Think about that. There's a scene in this movie where there were 5 different people on screen, and they're all being played by Eddie Murphy, all in makeup, combined with computer animation. And what's amazing is they're all convincing, they're all funny, and we believe they're all around that table together. I mean, he really created a lot of original stuff with a lot of hard work in this movie. And it's funny, which is the only reason to go. If it doesn't make you laugh, there's no reason to go. But I don't know if Eddie Murphy really gets credit for that. I think we take him for granted, just like we take a lot of Jim Carrey's work for granted. We don't take comedians seriously enough.
He's created a whole new career for himself, you think, in terms showing the versatility of his acting rather than simply being a stand-up comedian who's essentially doing stand-up.
He is an actor. He was in this movie Steve Martin made last summer called Bowfinger, where he plays a superstar, and then he plays the superstar's goofy double, who turns out to be his brother. The double is a funnier character than the superstar. He's just so abashed. You want me to be in a movie? Oh, I can't believe it. This kid would do anything to be in the movie, including walking in traffic. And the fact that he creates these 2 different characters, you never think it's a stunt. You never think Eddie Murphy is, just kind of doing it in order to get his name in the credits twice. You believe there are 2 different people there on the screen.
When you review a movie, how many times do you see it before you do the television program or you write your column?
Usually only have a chance to see it once, because they show it for the critics like a week or 2 in advance, and then your deadline comes up and you write it for the Sun-Times and you do it on the TV show. If I see a movie at a film festival, I will almost always ask to see it again closer to the release date, because, since memory doesn't stay, ideological memory, when you get an idea, you can keep it. But if you are thrilled by a movie and 10 months go past, you have to almost have that feeling again in order to be fresh to write the review.
Do you take notes during the movie?
Yes, I always do. I write in the dark. I can't always read the notes, but I take them.
All right. Take a look at this, a scene from one of my favorite movies, Perfect Storm, and one of Roger's as well. Take a look.
All right, then, Gloucester! We're coming home! Ah!
All right, let me talk about 2 more movies this summer. Then I want to talk about the book.
Okay.
Scary Movie. A big box office success.
I thought it worked as a comedy, and I thought that it functioned on that level. What I was a little startled by was the fact that it was really a raunchy movie. It was a really hard R, and a lot of parents, I think, were kind of surprised when they got their kids in there. And I mean, theoretically, with an R-rated movie, you're not supposed to take kids in. And there were genitals and other stuff in there. I mean, some of the little 6-year-olds were kind of startled by some of the stuff they were seeing.
Like, Mommy, what's that?
That's an example. The MPAA will not come through with a genuine A rating for adults only, and so we have more and more of this stuff being put into the R category, and that's not fair to parents, I don't think.
Roll tape. I'm not sure we're going to see on this tape, but roll it. Scary Movie. Big box office success.
Oh my God, we hit a boat!
Where's the foot?
Oh no. The body!
Ben!
We have to call the police.
No way! I ain't going to jail.
It's okay, I'm fine.
We'll get rid of the body. Come on, hurry up!
The next movie I want to talk about, I also liked a lot, Gladiator. Did you like it?
No.
Why not?
Bad special effects. Made the gladiators look like they were members of the World Wrestling Federation.
Well, that's true.
I never really believed the Coliseum was there. I mean, it's this shadowy, indistinct thing in the background. With today's special effects, you could make it into a real Coliseum if you wanted to. And, I mean, the dialogue was so, it was like a bunch of wrestling matches.
But listen, it took me away for a couple hours there.
Okay.
I was escapist, and I liked it.
Well, it had some good performances.
Crow is very good.
Yes, he's good.
Yes. That may be an Oscar performance.
No, because it came out too early in the year. We have a show about that coming up on our TV program.
Yeah.
Oscar season starts at the Toronto Film Festival the second week in September.
Right.
And probably 99% of all of the major pictures nominated for an Oscar
have to be there.
Probably, yeah.
Right.
So we wanted to go back into the year and look at some of the pictures, but I think some of the pictures made this year that deserve to be nominated would include, for example, High Fidelity. Did you see that?
Oh, I didn't, but everybody I know loves it.
That's a really,
John
really
Cusack.
good movie. Yes, that's a good movie.
Yeah.
So it seems like the Academy has no attention span. And that if it hasn't opened in September, October, November, December, or the studios want to promote movies that are still out there and still have some box office life in them, rather than movies that have already gone to video, that could have something to do with it, too.
Okay, staying with this idea, what did you think of Patriot?
I like Patriot. I think that the British are right to be angry
Yeah,
about it. You know, the British didn't commit atrocities like that. The biggest atrocity in that movie was borrowed from the Nazis, you know, who put all the people in a French village into a church and burned it down. The British never did that. And earlier, you know, in U-451 or U-541, whatever it was, we captured the Enigma machine. Yeah. Well, the British captured the Enigma machine from the Nazis, not us. So they're sitting over there thinking we're rewriting all 20th century history and 19th century and 18th century in our favor. It's not fair.
There's another...
But Mel Gibson was good in that movie. I mean, he's a very good actor, and it was basically a very effective movie.
And a good story.
Yes, it was. Yes, it was, yeah.
And you knew what was... That was one of those movies where you just knew what was going to happen. I mean, I don't want to give it away, but near the end, you knew who was going to be killed and who was not going to be killed.
But you know, Charlie, Spike Lee got a lot of flack for attacking that movie, and what Spike Lee said was simply the truth. I mean, where were the people who were picking the cotton? And where were the blacks? And where were the slaves? Slavery had lots more time to go at the time of the Revolutionary War. And the one slave who, you know, he keeps, if he'll serve his time, then he gets to be a free man, you know. So he just comes on screen every 10 minutes to talk about, oh, I'm going to be free soon. And then when he gets to be free, what does he want to do? He wants to help Mel Gibson build a house. Well, why does he want to build his own house? Why doesn't Mel Gibson help him? I mean, it was very condescending, and Spike is right about that, and people said, oh, there goes Spike again. But, you know, Spike usually just makes pretty good sense.
Yeah, he sure
and
does.
That movie really kind of left out the whole foundation of the emerging American nation, which was slavery.
So far this year, what do you think is the best movie, Academy Award-wise?
The best movie I've seen so far this year was High Fidelity.
You'd vote for it?
Oh, yes. Yes. It's a very good movie. And I would also put way up at the top of my list Wonder Boys.
Haven't seen that.
With Michael Douglas. Now, it's interesting because that movie opened and closed in February. And Paramount is going to bring it out again this fall because they took a good look at it, too, and they said, hey, wait a minute. This is Michael Douglas's best performance. This is a smart, intelligent movie.
So why did it not do well at the time?
I don't think at the time audiences were given a chance to even discover it. You know, you have this Friday night syndrome. If it doesn't open strong on Friday night, by Monday they're already trying to figure out what else to bring into that theater. And Wonder Boys, which is about this kind of broken down writer who's a college professor
and
a long weekend.
Yes,
you know,
and a young kid comes in who's like an intern, and they have a relationship.
Yeah, well, he really thinks this kid can write, and he's a good writer. And other people, there's a literary conference on the campus, and without going into the whole story, Douglas, who usually is this real slick Wall Street kind of corporate boardroom raider ladies man, here walks around half the movie wearing a bathrobe, you know, needs a haircut, and hungover, and he's a pothead. And yet at the same time, he's a sweet guy who wants to do the right thing and cares about people, but his life is a complete mess. And it's a really good movie, so I hope that Wonder Boys and A High Fidelity are not forgotten simply because they were early spring releases, late winter releases.
So who do you think is the best actor so far? Do you think it's Michael, or do you think it's Cusack, or do you think it's...
The best actor so far? Oh, I wouldn't see, I don't know. I want them both to be nominated. How's that?
Okay. There's a movie called Croupier, which I haven't seen.
Yeah.
You like it?
Yes, I do, and there's an interesting story about it because this company named the Shooting Gallery took 6 films and booked them for 2 weeks apiece in 23 cities as a shooting gallery series. You could go on Monday night and get a film critic to talk to you about it, and you could see the movie and so forth. And these are the kinds of movies that didn't get national releases, generally speaking, because it takes so much money to open a movie in this country. Well, Croupier kind of crossed over and was able then to get into regular theaters, and that was the whole idea of the series. Because there were a lot of good movies that we see at film festivals that the public never gets a chance to see because it costs so much in terms of advertising to open them.
Do you think you have the power to put people in the theater?
I wish I did. People say, do film critics have too much power? We don't have nearly.
Well, the power can be negative. You can keep people out, but can you put them in the theater with your own
enthusiasm? We can't keep them out, and we can help a movie. We can help a movie by sharing our enthusiasm. We can't necessarily hurt a movie that is destined to be a big hit anyway. Nothing the critics said, pro or con, probably influenced X-Men by $1.
True, it did just fine. Thank you very much. All right, here's a scene from Croupier. Take a look at this, and we'll come back and talk about this book. I hated this movie.
In 5.
Change.
What aftershave are you using?
Never converse with the punters. Slows things down. Money down. Speed is volume. Volume is profit for the casino. Aim at 40 spins an hour.
All right, I hate it. Why'd you write this book?
I like the writing in this book. I like to write. I am basically a newspaper man. I spend 80% of my time in print and 20% on television, probably. And when I get a really bad movie, it sometimes inspires me to write a fairly funny piece about it. And for the most part, these pieces are not so much angry as they are, I hope, funny. Because some of these movies are.
Is there a common denominator to all bad movies? For example, it's more often than not the script than it is the acting.
I tend to go easy on actors because it's not their fault.
Right.
I mean, if an actor is good, it had to be because of something he did or she did. Because you can't make something out of nothing. But if the actor is bad, frequently you just don't know what went wrong. It could be they never belonged in that movie. The script was no good. The director didn't know what he was doing. So many things could go wrong, it's amazing a good movie ever gets made.
You want to know about some of the choices you have here? Lake Placid. This is the kind of movie that actors discuss in long, sad talks with their agents. Message in a Bottle. To saddle Costner, Penn, and Newman with such goofy melodrama is like hiring Fred Astaire and strapping a tractor on his back.
Paul Newman very good in that picture.
I know he was.
As his father. You know. And Kevin Costner is a good actor. I looked at the script and I thought, come on, I mean, how often?
So is Robin Wright.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, Robin Wright's been in some terrific pictures, but this movie was just really soppy melodrama.
Yeah, it was soap opera.
Yeah.
All right. The Jackal strikes me as a kind of overachiever who, assigned to kill a mosquito, would purchase contraband insecticides from Iraq and bring them to the United States by hot air balloons, distilling and drinking water from clouds and shooting birds for food.
Just about what that movie is about. Bruce Willis wants to get from Canada into the United States, and in order to sneak in, he enters the Mackinac to Chicago race and crosses the finish line. Is there a less public way to enter the United States from Canada? Can we think of one? The border is 3,000 miles long. There must be another way to get into the United States.
Is there one that represents the very worst in movie making for you?
Worst movie I've seen is called I Spit on Your Grave. A little known fact about that, its original title was The Year of the Woman.
My God. Now, when was this movie made?
Oh, it was made about 1973, I think.
Do you get a special sort of itch in you when you see a bad movie, waiting to
certain kinds of movies, you're taking notes. A corner is turned, you realize it's bad. Another corner is turned, you realize it's hilariously bad. Yeah. Jaws: The Revenge, which was the fourth Jaws movie. The shark eats the plane, the seaplane, that has Michael Caine in it. Yeah. Everybody on the yacht is in mourning. Michael Caine is dead. Then, what do you know? He was able to swim over to the yacht. He climbs on board. His shirt is dry. He's not wet. Yeah. Meanwhile, you're trying to reason from the plot. Why does this shark want revenge? Because in Jaws 3, they killed it. Well, anybody would want revenge if you killed it. But the question is, why is the shark still alive if it was dead in Jaws 3? I mean, there are certain complications like this that are inexplicable, and they kind of inspire you when you're writing your reviews.
This is what Dave Barry says. One of life's great pleasures is watching a really good critic tee off on a really bad movie. This book is wonderfully entertaining. Roger Ebert makes some of the movies sound so awful that I now want to see them.
But I don't recommend that. I don't think you should see any of the movies in this book.
Don't encourage him to make more bad movies.
Right.
It's like the woman who said she never voted because she didn't want to encourage them. You have chosen a new partner.
Richard Roeper.
Why did you choose Richard Roeper, other than the fact he's in Chicago?
Well, we would have chosen him if he hadn't been in Chicago. He works for the Sun-Times, the same paper I work for, but actually we didn't even invite him on the show for the first year because I said, we can't have two people from the Sun-Times. And finally my wife said, well, why not? And she was right, because he's really very good.
How many people tested for this?
They didn't really test.
We had a lot of... you object to that word as soon as I said it.
We had a lot of guest hosts who came on. We were so shocked by the loss of Gene, we didn't have any feeling at all that we wanted to replace him in any hurry at all. We can't replace Gene. But the show, I think, is worth doing, and the show needs to be done, and it's good to do. We had about 25 people, and they were all really very good in different ways. And when Richard came on the set, it just seemed to feel right. He's very good. He's a good writer. He's very smart. He's very funny. He's very quick. He's been writing about the movies once a week for the last 10 years for the Sun-Times. He does a Sunday column that's almost always about the movies. So while he isn't a film critic, because I'm the film critic, He has written thousands and thousands of words about the movies and seen lots of movies, and I think he's good.
You didn't know Gene was dying until...
The theory was that he was on the mend. We had our own thoughts about that because we could see that he was in pain, but we respected his privacy.
He said, I'm on the mend?
Yeah. His last show, he said, I'm taking some time off to recover. Did
he ever communicate anything different to you?
No, he never did. It was his way of dealing with the situation, and I respect that. You know, when we get into a situation like this, whoever we are, we have to deal with it in whatever way we have to deal with it. I mean, it's up to us. I respect the privacy of people to make that decision.
Had brain disease, brain cancer?
The word cancer was never used. I do not know for sure exactly what the cause of his death was because it's never been announced, and that's the way it is.
What was the chemistry between the two of you?
We were very close because we worked together as partners for 24 years on this show. We were in good times and bad times. We shared some amazing experiences together. We fought, we made up, we laughed. He was a philosophy major. We talked a lot about life and death and things like that. One of the things I regret is that we never really had a talk about his illness because I have a feeling that he would have had some very wise things to share, but he just wanted to keep it private.
Did you ever try to bridge that? Did you ever try to figure out a way that I care so much about you, I want you to know that I'm open to talk about it or anything like that? Or
Charlie, it was made unmistakably clear that that was the decision he had made and that he wasn't going to talk about it. He didn't talk about it with anyone outside of the immediate members of his family, including old friends. I was an old friend.
You began as competitors.
Yeah.
He was at the Trib and you were at the Sun-Times.
That's right.
He was at the Chicago Trib and you were at the Sun-Times. And then you put together on public television. Whose idea?
It was the idea of the producers at public television.
Yeah. And you were there for how long? 3 or 4 years, 5 years?
We were there from about 1976 to about 1980. Then we went into commercial syndication.
Yeah.
First for Tribune, and then currently for the last 15 years for Buena Vista.
And was the chemistry there from the beginning?
Yes.
Or it was?
It was there because we hated each other. And we hated each other without any reason because we had never really, at the time we did the show, had any conversation of any length. He was at the Tribune. I was at the Sun-Times. We were on the elevator. We would look at the buttons over the door to see the lights
When
change.
you'd go up to the studio or something like that?
We were competitors.
When did it change?
We were in the same boat together. It's kind of like these guys in The Perfect Storm. You know, they hate each other, but the guy would go in the water after the other guy. You know, when he falls in, his enemy goes in after him because you can't let your fellow sailor drown.
Right.
Gene and I were on the same boat for 23 years, and we went through some things that were life experiences, and we had an opportunity. It was a great opportunity in our lives. I mean, we were Chicago newspaper men, and now we're on a national television show. How did that happen?
The most popular film critics probably in the world.
How did that happen? I mean, that should have happened to somebody from New York or Los Angeles. I mean, how did it happen to two guys from Chicago? I think Gene might be a little tickled that our new co-host is also
From Chicago.
a Chicago newspaper man, and Gene liked Richard very
The only
much.
thing that would have made it better for Gene if he was a die-hard Chicago Bull fan.
He was.
No, I said if his successor was a Chicago
I
Bull
see.
fan.
I have to talk to
Since
Roper
he did
about
work
that.
at the Tribune, if he at least is a Bull fan.
Yeah, well, I'm
would
sure
be
that we
good.
were all Bulls fans then, but now there are not many
Yeah, I know.
Bulls to be fans of. I guess they're rebuilding, right?
Who's the best director working today?
Scorsese.
No question.
Yeah.
Roger
Scorsese.
Ebert. Yeah, it's hard to imagine. But even though you look at his last movie with Nick Cage, didn't do well.
Well, so what? It didn't do well because it was too
Was it
good.
Was it that good?
I thought it was very good. I think that people these days are looking more for irony, and he's not an ironist. I talked about this with Paul Schrader, who has written 3 or 4 movies for Marty. And he said, we come out of an age of existentialism, and we're now living in an age of irony, where audiences, instead of seeing a real horror film, they want to go see a scary movie. They want to have the edge. They want to be sarcastic. They want to see the joke. And in a Scorsese movie, it's pretty serious. It's pretty serious.
I bet you he would say, maybe he would say Raging Bull was his best film, maybe. But I would bet you in the top 3, he would say Last Temptation of Christ.
I think he likes it very much,
know,
yeah. And then, of course, Taxi Driver is in there,
Yeah,
and
right.
Goodfellas.
You know what I love about Marty is his love of movies. And I had the opportunity recently to sit next to his new wife. And he so loves movies, you know, that he just, you know, infuses you with that love. He insists
I know. I've
that you
been
see the
talking about
movies
him.
and watch the movie, and I mean, it's just.
I reviewed his first film for the Sun-Times in 1967. We've known each other that long. And he's on a show. We did a show together, the best films of the 90s.
Oh, it's great, yeah.
And it's going to repeat
Right.
Right before Labor Day, or maybe it is Labor Day weekend. It's coming up in 2 or 3 weeks.
This book is called I Hated This Movie by Roger Ebert, film critic for the Chicago Sun-Times and also co-host of, what's it called?
It's now called, well, it will soon be called Ebert and Roeper in the Movies.
Ebert Roeper used to be Ebert and Siskel at the movies. It's always a pleasure to see you. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Charlie.